So there's a fierce and growing debate over Florida's new Black History curriculum. Vice President Kamala Harris has put herself right in the middle of it. The White House confirmed she even personally made the decision to take a last-minute trip to Jacksonville, Florida on Friday to go after the state's new Board of Education standards on teachings about slavery. Watch.
In the state of Florida, they decided middle school students will be taught that enslaved people benefited from slavery. They want to replace history with lies. High schoolers may be taught that victims of violence, of massacres, were also perpetrators. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not have it. And we will not have it. Instead, they dare to push propaganda to our children. This is the United States of America. We're not supposed to do that.
And I flew here on your dime so I could tell you that, so the left-wing media could quickly double down on my own narrative. Me said her. Watch.
Free housing, permanent employment, and all-you-can-eat cornbread. Board of Education in Florida wants you to see that job description and think, you know, maybe slavery wasn't so bad.
If you're going to say there were benefits to slavery, then you're going to say there were benefits to women being property and subject to abuse and subject to home enslavement.
It is not only insulting, it is humiliating.
This is the game that they have been playing, trying to both sides, racism and white supremacy, trying to unname it, and then trying to indoctrinate our children.
From morning to night, they picked up on that narrative. Critics are firing back, charging that the left is honing in on one portion that references slaves developing skills while overlooking the rest of the curriculum in an attempt to mislead and, as the vice president said, gaslight America.
This is a completely made-up deal. I looked at the standards. I even looked at an analysis of the standards. In every instance where the word slavery or slave was used, I even read the statement of the African-American scholars that wrote the standards, not Ron DeSantis, but the scholars. Everybody involved in this says this is completely a fabricated issue. And yet, look how quickly Kamala Harris jumped on it. So the fact that this is her best moment, a fabricated matter, is pretty ridiculous.
If only they'd written about the crisis at the southern border. I mean, if she was going to jump on a plane and go someplace where something was on fire. So look, you want to really separate fact from fiction here. Go ahead.
Right. And you absolutely quoted the curriculum correctly on this idea of slaves getting skills during that period that they used later. That is in the curriculum. It absolutely is. But it's much more than that. And I didn't read all 260 pages of this, but I did read some of it. And let me just give you an example of what's possibly more even-handed here. There's an entire study module that's entitled Resiliency, Contributions, and Influence of African Americans from the Colonial Era through the Westward Expansion. Look, this curriculum is more than one talking point, all right? There's a whole lot more going on here. And I feel like we've got to tell the story from various points of view. If you've studied history at all, you know it's complicated. You know it's nuanced. You have to tell everybody's point of view and make it clear that there was a lot going on. It's not just one story, one meme. There's more to it than that.
Joey.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I guess what bothers me most about this is if you asked a Gen Zer today, if they knew that there were members of Congress in 1870 that had been slaves for 40 years, they probably would say, what? There's no way. Didn't the South just lock them all up on plantations and keep them there? And the pushback here is you have to tell the full story. The idea that Reconstruction was as terrible as it was, not just because the South treated former slaves badly, but because the North treated who was left in the South badly. And I'm not saying they were victims. I'm saying that bad stuff rolls downhill. And the politics influenced how the people were treated. And so you have to tell the entire story of Reconstruction, the entire story. What liberals would have us believe is that we went from fighting the Civil War to we didn't start recovering until the 1960s. They would not have us believe that for 100 years we were moving in the right direction, not in the right place, but moving in the right direction. I know this because I grew up in Georgia and had to learn things like the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free slaves. Because the point of the Emancipation Proclamation was politics. And politics is the root to all evil. This entire curriculum shows you that there was slave trade in the Caribbean, there was slave trade in Africa, there was slave trade in Asia, there was slave trade in Europe, and there was slave trade in South America. At the same time, there was slave trade in the U.S. And I believe that liberals would have our youngest believe that we were so evil from our inception, we were the only ones doing evil. It's not to excuse our evil, and by all means, slavery is evil. Treating people like cattle is beyond evil. It's the worst thing I could imagine, because then you have to dive into what that really means. And this curriculum, from the bullet points I read, dives into that. This specific point she pulls out of, I think, 94 curriculum points, from my understanding, was pointed towards saying this is what slaves had to work with once they were freed.
The reference, and we pulled it out, the reference in the new Florida Black History Standards reads this way. Instruction includes how slaves developed skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. Carly.
Yeah, I think that it's jarring to read the phrase slavery attached to personal benefit, because those are two concepts that just simply don't belong together. So I do understand the criticism, especially if all you do is listen to Vice President Kamala Harris, who pointed to that very specific bullet point. But the fact of the matter is that this is a 215-page curriculum. And the very first bullet point of what students are required to learn is positive influences and contributions by African Americans. It goes into examining the services and sacrifices of African patriots during the Revolutionary era, as well as examining the Underground Railroad and its importance to those seeking freedom. So there is a lot in there. Another thing that I want to say about this curriculum is it's interesting that you can, in this day and age, tell that it is a curriculum attached to a conservative state. And it's unfortunate that we have states now that are teaching history differently, but there is a section that asks students to learn how trading slaves developed in Africa, how Europeans were sold as slaves in Muslim countries, and how slavery was utilized in Asian cultures. And I think there are those who want us to believe that slavery is a specific American sin, when unfortunately it was not. It was a worldwide thing.
Emily.
A worldwide sin.
Right. I think this underscores to me how it seems in our country at this moment there's an inability to appreciate the nuance, the thoughtfulness, the uniqueness of every single human and every single viewpoint. And I see it being perpetuated most by this vice president and this president and their administration. So underscoring all of your points as well, that yes, this is a deep and holistic discussion about what education is and about what learning from the past is, so we can move forward. And it doesn't do any help to have the vice president singular, narrow down, miss the broader point and hone in on something and then ascribe it to a governor rather than focusing on the scholars of the board. And I'd like to point out, Dr. Frances Presley Rice, she's chairperson of the National Black Republican Association, law degree, MBA, lieutenant colonel in the military. And she says she has an incredible backstory. She blames the Democrat Party for perpetuating racism and segregation. And her voice, however, is diminished by the Democrat Party because she's a Republican, and because for some reason her skin color, it matters less to them because she feels that her thoughts are different. They are not in lockstep with the Democrat Party. And Dr. Allen, he was an incredible scholar, professor. I thought he had such a beautiful comeback to those saying, well, you can't, certainly you can't have that point in there. He says, I think it would be, if the wording should be amended, he says, that would erase people's history. And let me illustrate that for you. He said, my great-grandfather is someone who came from the islands and who was enslaved here, and whose own resilience, resourcefulness, and adaptiveness was certainly instrumental in producing for his family, his descendants, and the ability to prosper here in this country. So he says, hence, from his resourcefulness, we derive benefits. I think anyone who would try to change that language would be denying that my great-grandfather made any contribution. I certainly could not endorse doing that. And my point is simply that his voice matters, his opinion matters. He is one of the scholars behind this curriculum. I wish the administration and the liberals would accept and at least respect his opinion.
I wish she'd read the rest of that document, the vice president. And as I listen to each of you, I realize that the conversation that we're having here, and I often feel that way about this show, when we really go deep, is bigger and better than the one that our leaders are trying to have with us. And if she feels insulted today, so do we, because we deserve better.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.